Hello everyone. This is more Planescape Torment, probably the last stream I'm gonna do on it. This is mostly stuff I have missed and didn't get a chance to check out during the usual playthrough, that's why it's called extras. So what I want to go through is I have enabled a bunch of cheats and I have a lot of hit points. I have given myself the bronze sphere because Nordum didn't have it actually, and I'm not sure where I kind of left it. And so basically, I want to see the ending with the bronze sphere. Also, maybe check out the ones that if you have high wisdom, my character is basically has all max stats. That's all done with cheats. And what else I didn't want? I wanted to check out Ignis because I haven't talked to him. Maybe recruit him if I can in that last portion when you go to the mortuary, but you're still in Sigil. Want to check out stuff there. And what else? I'm missing something. Yeah, I wanted to check out how all of the spells looked as well, because I've also given myself the cheat to have all spells. But it memorized all of them as well, it seems like. Let me see, maybe when I cast them. Yeah, it seems to be all of the spells. How does Detective look? It surprisingly also gives you the priest spells. And Dark One spells as well. Well, it doesn't seem like I can cast all of them. Yeah, I still need to choose, it seems. The most powerful ones are Remembered, Ignis's Fury, Power Word Blind, Mechanist Cannon. And it's surprising that I think the max level for cheats basically is something like 128. And I finished the game when I was probably like somewhere level 17 or so, maybe 15. So yeah, that's kind of surprising that the game has so many spells accounted for, but you probably won't see any of them. So I'm just gonna run past this pretty quickly, I guess. Not much point in fighting them. Though they still do quite a bit of damage. Why, I'm not sure. Oh, he's a multi-class. That's why he has so little health points. Fun entrance. I'm probably not gonna go through the dialogue I have already read. And no point in asking him for free stuff.
Hatanari in my home? Of all the invite here.
Yeah, he doesn't like us being here. But we won't be here long. My mortality was stolen, yeah, go on. Go to the Cursory. Oh no, he tells me to go to the Fortress of Three Reds. And I have to go to Barter. I mean Batar, okay. Or to a dangerous place. Yeah, he doesn't want to go there because
experience has increased my skills.
Because of the Skull Throne. Let's call it that. I think I have to go somewhere here. Yeah. This is how butter looks like. I really wish there was a game in the planes, but 3D, not isometric, so you could see all of it. Maybe Baldur's Gate would have something like that. Not sure though. I've actually thought about maybe they'll do some crazy stuff in like the later acts of Baldur's Gate 3. Maybe some kind of spelljammer stuff would happen. That would be cool, but I don't know. I feel like it would be something they would do, but we'll see. Get Pillar's attention. What's going on? What's going on? Yeah. Nameless one basically pried them out of there. I'm going to speak to the Pillar. I'm just not gonna give out Morte. Did you laugh at it? Yeah. I should also talk to the companions. I don't think I have talked to them in like the world. That's a bit different. Okay, let's ask him who is my killer. I haven't asked him that before. Or I guess it. Wait, he doesn't know. The pillar remains strangely silent. Some of its heads simply look away, while others shudder with pained expressions. Eventually, they gather themselves and speak once more. We do not know. Those heads that once contained such knowledge have been destroyed, removed from us. We cannot answer you this question. Interesting. I think it's kind of a strange question. I think the Nameless one should know it. The very first one was probably killed by Ravel, and maybe he's asking like for the later incarnations. Who killed them? Might be so. What are you? Question for a service. Come on, Chief, didn't I just tell you what it was? It's composed of the heads of liars whose advice send those they advise to their deaths. It can answer almost any question. It knows more than a lot, but it will expect a whole mess of payment for your services. Don't ask it a question like that. I see. Silence, you demean our noble station with such casual talk. A particularly hideous spirit cries out, and to call all of us liars is, before seeing sucked back into the pillar's sickly heart. I see. Okay, so how do I get to the Fortress of Regrets? What should I demand? I'm not gonna give out Morte. I won't say. What are the gifts? And eventually they want me to walk in there. And it will take 15 health points, and I have way more than that.
Updated my journal.
Yes.
Updated my journal.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know, I guess. Should be able to run past them, no problem. And I think here was a teleporter.
Portal detected.
Yeah, he says portal detected, but have to ask the pillar how to leave first. Oh. Lost focus. Let's do that again.
Updated my journal.
How do you reach the fortress? What's your demand? Okay, what gifts?
Updated my journal. Updated my journal.
Answer that question for the man. What's your demand? What? It could actually give me the answer, but it seems like not. How do I leave? What's your demand? Forget that pillar.
Done.
Now I should be able to summon the portal and go through. Okay, there it is.
Portal detected.
Now we leave. Oh, but we are back in the Outlands. Have to go to this guy, he'll tell us there's a portal over here.
All right.
So you've returned. And what did the pillar speak of? Did it answer your inside? What? What?
How do I get
Updated
out?
my journal.
Yeah, he tells me. What I'm gonna do now is prepare a bunch of spells. I have to forget these ones because they are not castable for some reason. Or maybe that's just because I haven't rested.
What? What?
I should be able to rest here now. Can I cast all of them? No, I still cannot. I have to prepare them. And I probably want to see stuff from here. Ball lightning. We know how Axe of Torment looks like, so I don't want to use that probably. Clock of Warding, we'll have one of those. Elysium Steers, and I know how that looks like. Fire Rain, I do not. It's probably one of the Ignis' spells, if I had to guess. Infernal Shield, same thing. Tasha's Unbearable Derisive Laughter. That's a spell from Baldur's Gate. Okay, Vampiric Touch. I guess we could try it out. The 3 months focus. Okay, so that's basically it. For level 3 spells. Improved strength. What does that do? Can bestow superhuman strength upon a creature for the moment per strength, allow the recipient of the spell to ignore race or class restrictions on his max strength score, possibly reaching scores as high as 25. Wizard. But it's a mage, it's called a mage. Confusion. Focus all purposes have become undone. Causes 1 to 4 creatures, +1 per level, to become confused and unsure of itself. They will either wander away, stand confused, attack nearest creature, or act normal. Black Sphere. Don't need Black Sphere, I don't know what that looks like. Elemental Strike. Force Missiles. Could probably be different with the max level. Move Curse, don't need that. Shadows. What's that? The spell brings shadows to your aid in shrouding your body from detection of physical attacks. Oh, that's interesting. When this spell is cast, a targeting cursor appears, and the player must select any target within touch range. The recipient of the spell gains the following abilities: +3 to AC, 10% to stealth, and targets have a -1 penalty to hit the caster. Sure. Let's take 2 elemental strikes maybe. Cloud Kill, I know how Cloud Kill looks like. Oh, probably the old hag in the Rackpicker Square has the spells when you return. Should probably talk to her as well. Didn't think of that actually. Desert Hell. What's this? Hell is an oft debated term. Some say hell is better, others say the abyss. The spell proffers that nothing could be worse than the endless dunes of scorching heat of the desert. The spell summons the scorching heat of the desert plains to scorch all enemies within sight. Enemies within range must save with a spell or spontaneously combust for up to 40 points of damage. Even if they save, they shall take half damage from the searing heat. I see. Pretty good spell. Duplication. What's this? This spell is actually a complex mathematical equation accidentally discarded by the Modron. Null EVA while calculating the multiplication factor on various linear algebraic formulas. The results are devastating. This equation allows all subsequent actions to be doubled or duplicated. Hence, it was found that during confrontations, all physical and magical attacks were seemingly doubled, dealing twice the amount of damage. The spell affects a single target, no saving throw required. When cast, all subsequent attacks, physical or magical, will be duplicated once. For example, after attacking once with the weapon, the attack will be immediately duplicated. Same for spells. Cast a magic missile and immediately afterwards another magic missile spell will launch. The spell will last for approximately 2 minutes after casting. Can I cast this spell 2 times? And so it will cast it again. And then it will cast it again? Would that work? I want to try that. Let's get 3 Desert Hells and all Siva. Okay, Anti-Magic Shell. That's an interesting spell. Haven't seen that one before. Chain Lightning Storm. Not sure if I got that. Or tried it before. No, I think I haven't. Globe of Invulnerability. Nope. Howl of Pandemonium. What's that? The madness from the howling land. Pandemonium's noise screams forth and buries everyone in the cacophony. The winds of Pandemonium shoot forth from the caster's body to stun any enemies on screen. The spell can also nullify all sound-based attacks and deflect normal missile weapons. Creatures of 2 hit die or less who fail a saving throw spell incapacitated for 60 minutes. Those creatures with greater than 2 hit die but less than the casters who will fail their saving throw become confused. Might be good. Acid Storm. Don't know this one. Blaze-Storm, don't know. Guardian Mantle. That's probably the spell that Mortality cast on itself. Stygian Ice Storm. Don't remember seeing that one. Something like this, I guess. Deathbolt. Don't remember seeing Deathbolt, but I think I have at some point. This is Fury. Frames from a little plane of fire to wrap, scorch and burn. The spell casts for a critic storm of fire that inflicts 100 points of damage plus 1 additional point of damage per level of the caster on all creatures within sight. A successful saving throw will half the damage. That's crazy. Especially that I have cheated myself to have like plus 50 levels. Mechanos Cannon. No saving throw, yeah. Remember that? Meteor Storm. Yeah, remove a bunch of spells. Power Word Blind. Why is it so up the list? The power of Sage shall be removed at Darkshire Center. The spell blinds up to 100 points of creatures within 15 feet of the specified target point. The blindness spreads outwards from the caster, affecting creatures with the lowest HP totals first. Those with more than 100 HP are not affected. The spell effect's duration depends on the number of HP affected. If 25 or fewer hit points are affected, then the blindness lasts for 400 and then it gets lower for up to 40 seconds and the individual creature can't be partially affected. Unless all of its HP are affected, it is not blind. A bit useless it seems, but I'll keep it to see how it looks. Abyssal Fury. Okay. Celestial Host, I've checked it out on the last stream. From a scroll. Basically like Final Fantasy sounds. Conflagration is interesting. Elysium's Fires. Power Word Kill. Rune of Torment. Okay, this would be pretty much everything probably. Let's get a bunch of magic missiles as well. Because we can. Seeking Flames. Probably against a spell. I guess it's like a magic missile must be. As a maintainer of life, fire is a true blessing, yet as it warms, it also burns. While it is a blessing, it is also a curse. Scorching flames distract and beacon all enemies who succumb to its effects. All enemy targets in a 50 radius -1. No, it's like a debuff. Tongues of Flame. Missile of Flame that strikes its target unerringly for 5 points of magical fire damage with no saving throw possible. In addition, the caster gains 1 extra missile after. Yeah, it's magic missile. Pretty good. There's a knock in the game. I don't think I've seen any locked chests. Pain Mirror. Near Forgotten Legacy of an Ancient Empire, the spell reminds those who wish to harm the caster that they must be willing to suffer as well. If the caster is hurt, the same damage is inflicted on any creatures too close to the caster. Oh. The spell only affects the caster. Whenever the caster is attacked while the spell is in effect, all hostile creatures within a 10-foot radius take equal damage. It only works for one attack, and of the effects are not cumulative. You cannot have more than one mirror erected. The spell is not triggered. It lasts for 5 seconds per level of the caster. Reign of Anger. Doesn't seem like Darkon knows any level 9 spells. But I guess I could give him all spells as well, but I think the Nameless one is enough. Okay, let's rest the party. Now we can run out of here.
Something familiar about that one. No matter.
Wonder what he says that.
Done.
Probably because past incarnations have met with him. Okay. Everything is ruined. It should have no problem, probably just
Updated my
go into
journal.
Trias. I'll get a new dialogue as well.
Great. First one of the ladies' mazes, now the prison.
Going in anyway.
Why can't we go somewhere nice?
Yeah, heal me up. And Morte, Darkon, Nordam, why not?
Done.
Okay, let's see how... Oh my god. I think Darkon deals just a tiny bit more damage than he usually does. Don't need to find anyone here. That's probably not the way. I don't remember where to go. Okay, not here. Yeah, up here, I guess. Yep. Okay, this should be... not sure how it will go. I'll cast a bunch of spells on him and he should be dead probably.
Portal detected.
These people, they are betrayers, liars, murderers. They have earned their fate.
Yeah, sure. Nice trick to the city here, Trias. Tell me how to reach the Fortress of Regrets and we'll have done. Trias says, Gleam, I think not mortal. You cast shadows on existence. You call torment down on from the heavens, and it is in my power to open you to the light. White fire dances on his blade. We shall duel, you and I. Alright, Trias, but I'm going to kill you. Let's see how Rune of Torment looks like. It seems like I casted that one on myself. Do I? Yeah. He just inscribed that on the floor. How about Abyssal Fury? Let's see. Elysium's Fire. I don't think I could cast that for some reason. Okay, let's run to him. Oh, he casted Elysium's Fires on Murphy.
I'm working on this thing.
Weapon's not doing it.
I'm working on this thing.
Let's cast Mechanus Cannon on him. That didn't work. Oh, nice effects. That was Bladestorm. It's like almost 3D or something like that. I like how that looks.
I yield to you this hour, mortal. My imprisonment has weakened me. In my state, I am no match for you.
I still require knowledge from you, Trias. Tell me how to reach the Fortress of Regrets. Before I tell you, I must exact a promise from you. Must vow to spare my life. I vow to spare your life if you give me the knowledge you seek. The portal to the place you seek within the torus above the spire. In the city of Sigil, the city of doors. In that city there is a place where the dead kind are taken. You mean the mortuary? To swear you awoke of late, is it not? The plains seem filled with such ironies of late. So close you were then, yeah. Was where the key? The fortress of regrets is mortared with tears, and like calls to leg. Like calls to leg. To enter the fortress, you must contribute something to it. When you pass near the portal, should you carry regret in your mind, you will feel the presence of the portal, like the cloud embrace of death. Cold embrace of death. While this chill bathes you, you must tear off a scrap of your skin? Yeah. How do you know this? Many alliances have I sought across the plains. My search brought me to the fortress, where I spoke to its lord and keeper of its shadowed halls. No doubt you should wish to return to Sigil now. The blood you have on your hand shall act as the key to this portal. Simply stray through the door which you entered and you shall return. So he has spoken to the nameless one's mortality, it seems. What will you do when I have left you, Trias? I shall once again attempt to levy a host against the gates of paradise. They will not have me back, and there is no other purpose to my existence. Trias, have you forgotten the face of your father? What do you mean? The upper planes are the home of justice, beauty, and goodness. They are also home of forgiveness. Go there, admit your error, and beg forgiveness. He opens his mouth with an angry retort, and pauses, reflecting. He bows his head. You speak convincing words, mortal, and their wisdom pierces me. I shall seek the forgiveness of my fathers, and accept any retribution they choose. Take this, and farewell, mortal. If we meet again, it is my hope that I will be redeemed. Oh, that's so nice. A good ending from Trias. Best of luck. I dropped the item. What was that item?
I'm gone.
Oh, I dropped. Oh, he gave me a scroll of Celestial Host, basically. Okay, let's give that to Darkon. I keep carrying Ravel's hair around. On the city returning back to the Outlands. It's kinda cool.
May my faith lend me strength.
I'm gone.
I wanted to see a bunch of stuff in this place. Like, oh, I got an idea. I want to see if I can kill Ignis before he attacks me in the fortress. Can I travel back to Cursed? No, it doesn't seem like it. And
May my faith lend me strength. May my
let's
faith
see that
lend
now
me
if I can do
strength.
that. Might be able to talk to him. Cannot save it this time. Because this person wants to talk to me. Probably. Right? Yeah. You see someone dressed in as a female dustman with half-empty glass in her right hand. As you near her, she calls out to you. I'm you over there. You notice something wrong about her, and your exposure to the dustman leads you to believe that she is just too lively to be a rival member of the faction. Approach her. Hey, Cutter, buy a lady a drink. You're not really Dustman, are you? She looks around nervously and she sips you up right up. Hey, why do you say that? Because you don't like a Dusty. You're not offering contracts. In fact, you're taking money in instead of giving it out for that corpse labor they do at the mortuary. She stifles a squeak of terror and hastens to explain. No. I'm not a dustman. I just found these robes on the street and I didn't have enough money to get good clothes, and I heard there was a dustman thief around and you could probably find him somewhere else in the southwest part of the hive. I saw him, but I hid from him. Please don't hurt me. I'm not planning on it. You ought to know that you're not putting it off too well. Now answer my questions. Who are you? I'm okay. I just like to drink here, and she loses her train of thought momentarily. I'm just a person, you know. I see. What's this place? Smoldering Corpse Tavern. Can't you read? You more Bob than I am. Forget it. Nothing. Farewell.
Done. All right.
Okay, let me see if I can kill him outright. First and foremost. Wow, it did work. Okay. This crackling, billowing creature twists slowly above an iron grill upon the floor of the bar. It may have once been human, but now its skin is charred beyond recognition. Streams of fire from a wreath around the creature's body, and the flames lick and a few remnant pockets of flesh, causing them to bubble and run like wax down the creature's skeletal frame. Greetings. The thing makes no response. It rises slowly between the flames. It lives, but it does not seem aware of anything other than the fire that surrounds it. Its skin is flame, the heart is flame, and you know within some shadowed corner of your memory that this thing is dangerous. Examine the creature. The heat surrounding this creature is incredible. To your surprise, the iron grill the creature floats above has sagged and bent from the heat. Oh. At first, you thought the heat came from the grill, but now you realize it emanates from the creature. As you watch, flecks of ash drift from the writhing corpse and heat flows slowly to the ceiling. Greetings. Okay. Doesn't seem like I can talk to him. Maybe Drusilla knows about him something. Who is that thing burning?
My journal.
The despair you saw on her face before flits across it again like a black winged shadow before she masters her help. That's Ignis, one of the greatest wizards ever to come out of this slummy excuse for a cesspool. They caught him and they opened a channel to the place of fire through him, and now he's just a doorway for it, keeping himself alive by force of will alone. If someone could douse him for a few moments, it would give me his life back again, but they don't make enough water to do that. Someone should be able to find something. What's your connection to him? Her voice practically throbs with a deep ache. I was Ignis's lover and he my beloved. He loved the flame more than me, and now he has become the flame. And because I love him, I love the flame. But that's all done with now. Now I wait for him to douse himself. To sell what little I have just so I can be near him. Oh. I understand.
All right.
Let's talk to the lizards. Doesn't seem like I can talk to him. You see a scaled fiend who looks very similar to one standing next to him. In addition to the pierced left ears, both are black-hued and reptilian, with bat wings stuck against themselves. This one has a small scar under its left eye. It sees Anna and Fall from Grace standing near you, and rasps, hissing, "Take the abyssal vermin away and I'll talk. Till then we shall say nothing." Okay.
Done.
Lots of people seem to dislike Fall from Grace, especially creatures from the lower planes. Who's this? Kendrian. Just like a ghost. You see a soft-looking man with gentle, far-staring eyes. He dresses in supple leather clothing and carries various implements of use and destruction about his body, such as rope spikes, tinder boxes, and empty vials of air. He looks half gone, literally. There is an insubstantiality to his existence, as if his essence had been partially leached away. He focuses those eyes on you, and suddenly you find them gripping and determined. Greetings to you, a seeker. Greetings. He carefully sets down the mug of his holding and gives you all his attention. I have seen the far reaches of the multiverse and returned to tell the tale. I have walked upon the bodies of dead gods and spun moonbeams in the astral ahead of 1,000 shrieking Githyanki nights. I have passed the edges of existence and watched my essence shiver away from me. Oh, I see. What's it can do for you? I had some questions. Speak and I shall tell you. Who are you? I'm Kendrian Illborn, traveler, dreamer, tale spinner, and so forth. You're a traveler, tell me of the plains. Oh, that's pretty cool. I am tired, seeker, so tired. I am fresh back from negation. I will answer when I can for you, but I cannot promise that you will find satisfaction in the answers I give. What would you know? Would you hear of the outer planes, the prime material, or the inner planes? What's the difference? The difference is true essence, seeker. The inner planes are matter, substance, true physicality. They're the building blocks of the multiverse, for it is from them that all belief in the elements springs. The inner planes filter through the ethereal plane, the plane of potential, some say, which forms the elements into the worlds of mortals. Once past the ethereal plane, one reaches the prime material, where exists all matter of mortals and monsters and myths and machines. It is where that belief is born, and there that the spirits that create the outer planes are born. When mortals die, they pass through the astral plane, and no place that is thought of. That this thought and mental energy is hell, I see. It is in all things and in none. It's a paradox among other things, and it filters spirits into the great ring. Do you comprehend it so far? You can ask him for some more. Forget this line of questioning. I'm not so sure. The inner planes are substance. They create matter, they lead to the prime material plane, which is life and death, birth of thought. The prime leads to the outer planes, which are the belief made solid, where thoughts are given form. Is that easier for you? I still don't understand. Unfortunately, I have explained it as best I can. Remember this though, the place you stand is not true matter, but it is created by the force of beliefs all across the prime and the outer planes. It can be changed by belief, and it's subject to alteration. It is mutable and changeable with the power of mind alone. Yeah. Seems to be only applicable in the Planescape setting. He would say in the prime and outer planes, yeah. Tell me of the planes. Go on. Now the outer planes, where should I start? Do you know the cardinal rules of the planes, on which all others are based? Do you know about the composition of the outer planes? Do you know the Great Ring and its diversions in our hearts? Do you know the individual planes? Each of these leads to the next, and so it's best to start from the beginning. So what about the composition? The outer planes are created often by belief and thought and faith. They take their imagined form from the prime material plane, shaped into forms that stagger the imagination, built by the accumulation of belief. Belief creates the planes. Belief is power here. Change belief and you can change the nature of reality. The creatures that are born here, the plane-born, like the fiends and celestials, are truly born of the thoughts and concepts of mortals. They each express some sort of ideal, and the more powerful the ideal, the more powerful the being. Thus, the being that symbolizes love is one of the strongest of all. Fall from grace is the strongest of all. Go on. That's why the powers, gods, some call them, live out here. This is where all the faith in them comes. This is where they are the most pure and most strong. The realms and extensions of their very beings, manifestations of their godly essence. All of it is informed by belief. So the composition of the planes is belief. Tell me of the Great Ring now. Among the loose unity of planewalkers, we conceive of the infinite outer planes as a ring surrounding the plane of ultimate neutrality, the Outlands. The spire atop which Siddle sits is in the center of the Outlands. The further one travels away from the spire, the less neutral the plane grows until it spills into the neighboring planes. Each of these planes impinges on the Outlands, spinning themselves into law and chaos, good and evil. The Great Road marks the demarcation between the Outlands and the gate towns that spring up around the gates to those planes. Beyond the gate towns lie the hinterlands, uncharted territory that is lost to history, that loses thought. Danger lies in the hinterlands, yeah. The outer planes differ by morality, but not substance. For you, we'll divide the planes into 3 sets: the upper planes of good, the lower planes of evil, the boundary planes of neutrality. These are then divided further by law and chaos, with the Outlands in the middle. Which of these interests you? That's a good way to explain it. The upper planes, how about them? Oh, the upper planes, there are neutral planes, the lawful planes, and the chaotic planes. What would you know? The lawful planes. Kendrian gives a small shudder. I am not the best person to speak of the planes of law, he says, for the innate structure and ultimate patterns they impose frighten me. I steer clear of them, because I value my individuality more than I value the knowledge they'll bring me. They include regimented Arcadia, nearest of the good planes to the unbending order of Mechanus, and Mount Celestia, home of the Archons, an island in the Silver Sea. What about the neutral planes? The neutral planes, the neutral upper planes contain the Beastlands, a place of neutrality and goodness, with a slight tinge of chaos, where the animals rule in the eternal noon and night. They hold Baitopia, twin paradise of industry and labor, where all work toward the good of all, and Elysium, the sweetest plane of goodness and calm I have ever come across. Alas, right now I'm not well enough to enjoy any of the restorative effects. What would you hear of now? What about the chaotic chaotic upper planes? These are where I feel at home, though I steer clear of Isgard for the most part. The endless battles and tests of metal among the floating earthbergs. It's like iceberg, but with earth. I see. Of the plane don't do much for my disposition. Arborea, though, he sighs. The mountains are taller, the air clearer, and rivers purer. The game larger than anywhere else. It's a true paradise, a place where the passions run high and the wine never ceases to flow. When I have recovered enough of my wits and myself, when we have done with the outer planes, you shall ask me of the inner, and I will describe my journey to you. I will return to Arborea bowers and glades, and lose myself for a time. So what of the inner planes? He sighs, as if this reminded him of some bone-deep weariness. Think of the inner planes as a globe. On the top pole you have the positive material plane. On the bottom you have the negative material plane. He pauses. Remind me to tell you of the negative. His eyes turn inward to some private horror. From the interaction between the two springs all the urge of existence and non-existence, death and life, actuality and nothing. From them spring the basic elemental planes like fire, water, air, and earth. The para-elemental planes that lie between the 4 basic elements and the quasi-elemental planes that come from the interaction of 4 elements with the positive and negative. Tell me of the negative material plane. His eyes cloud over. I went to the inner planes to discover my true essence. I made the mistake of visiting the negative material plane in order to understand my body's urge to decay and the cycle of death and life. I thought myself protected against the ill effects from the plane with my magic, but I was wrong. The blackness of infinite nothing pressed on my soul, and I was beset by shadows that sought to snuff out my very soul. I lost my way for a time, for an eternity, and nearly lost my existence. I could feel my essence falling away from me, and am even now half gone. Never will I return. How did you survive?
My journal.
How did I survive? He smiled slightly. With a piece of nothing that I held back. Piece of nothing that held back the nothing. Nothing can stop nothing, you know? And so I carried nothing in my hand to protect me. Do you plan a journey on the ultimate negation yourself? Do you have the smell of desperation about you? And so I make you this gift. Hold it in your hand when the shadows press in, and it should protect you and your friends somewhat, should they remain close to you. He passes you a small black token that looks as if it has no dimensionality to it at all. That's pretty cool. Thanks. Can he tell me more about the... Oh, I can ask him. Tell me about the Great Dream. Among the loose unity of planewalkers, we conceive of the infinite outer planes as a ring surrounding the plane of ultimate neutrality, the Outlands. The spire atop which Citadel sits in the center of the Outlands, the further one travels from the spire, the less neutral the plane grows, until it spills into the neighboring planes. Each of those planes impinges on the Outlands, spinning themselves into law and chaos, good and evil. Great road marks the demarcation. What about the lower planes? Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. Like the lower planes, like the upper planes, the lower planes are divided into lawful, chaotic, and neutral. Each of them varies in terms of horrors and what those horrors do to a traveler spirit, and all of them are best avoided. Which of them would you like to hear of? The neutral plane. The neutral planes, they're vile and barely understandable. They're more insidious on their own than you could ever imagine. Take Gehenna, for example. 4 volcanoes in stages of dormancy floating in an infinite void, each of them somehow alive, and each of them wanting your soul by whatever means they can get it. Populated with the Yugoloths, the worst of the fiends, in my opinion, and you've got the place. The plane of ultimate evil, at least, that's what they call it. It's the grey waste, and no place that drains color from your body and spirit, stealing away even your apathy, and it's the site of the worst battlegrounds in the war down there. Don't get me started. Then you've got Carceri on the chaotic side. Tell me about Carceri. The Carcerian is poisonous jungles, acid swamps, destructive waters, stung like a string of rotten perils nested within one another. He pauses and looks at you carefully, again fixing you in place with his eyes. Remember, thy seeker, Carceri is a prison, home to the Kekralans, one of the most dangerous types of fiend there is. The strength of the prison is the strength of the captor, as strong as the prisoner lets it be. Destroy the prison keeper, and body can escape the red prison. There is almost no other way out, not when the gates close themselves against you and watch you spin out into the vast space surrounding the orbs. Be wary of Carceri, traveler, for its bonds can be greater than flesh. Tell me about the war. Aye, the blood war. At the name, your blood feels as if it freezes in your veins. Hillborn doesn't seem to notice, wrapped up as he is in the memories. 2 armies of fiends smashing together pointlessly across the lower plains, slaughtering mindlessly the domain of law and chaos. They'll agonize it, of course, but in the end, it's about hate and stupid endeavor that aids none and harms far too many. Yeah, the Nameless one shatters because that's his destination at the end of the day. Tell me more about the lower planes. What about the lawful planes? As much as I detest the order of the lawful upper planes, at least they present a modicum of goodness. Their lower planar counterparts, though, usher on the place of ricocheting cubes that never see an end to battle. Swarming with souls of dead humanoids, better. He shivers involuntarily. Battery is a place to best avoided. Those Batizu, the fiends in the corner there, they're but the merest expression of the deviant corruption embodied in that soulless machine of order. If you want more, talk to them, but remember, all that is bad about bureaucracy and order originates from butter, and it spreads like a stain across the hearts of mortals. Though there is some knowledge to be found there, it is rarely worth the spiritual rape that the plane inflicts. What about the chaotic planes? With apologies to your companion, he gestures to Wolf from Grace. The abyss isn't someplace you should consider going. Where butter is all orderly, the abyss is full of chaos and change, and none of it is pleasant. When it becomes something that approximates normality, that's when you should be most wary of it. It's home to the Tanari, what most primes call demons, and they've got that name for a reason. They are, if you excuse me, my lady, and Grace nods her head, unpredictable and murderous, and the few you can trust are few and far between. Again, my apologies, Lady Grace. You are, as far as I have been able to ascertain, one of those few. It's interesting that he has this understanding of fall from grace, because I would assume that this place you would normally see way before going to the brothel to get fall from grace. So I guess it's interesting attention to detail. What about the boundary planes? There are two boundary planes into my mind, and they're diametrically opposed. One of them, Mechanus, is the very essence of law, a place where beliefs fit together, interlocking, turning in a massive machine that is the entire plane. Some folks would have it that the gears of Mechanus are the engine that drives the planes. The other plane is Limbo, a swirling morass of chaos that follows no rules, none. And just when a body thinks he is classified his behavior, it goes and changes on him. Or it doesn't. You just can't tell. It was in limbo. I was in limbo not too long ago. Tell me of your journey. He closes his eyes, remembering. I had a Gitsuri guide with me, an anarch who could shape the illogical matter of the plane into forms of his desire. We had fought off the harrying of the Slari, the chaos creatures who called the plane home. It seemed there were more than usual, but then one can never tell what is usual in limbo. But I digress. In the midst of all this chaos, we came across a series of huge metal interlocking cubes, like some sort of puzzle box. It wasn't something we had shaped, consciously or not, and we couldn't find a way inside. It was like a bastion of order within the confines of disorder. A seed of law. That's the best I can explain it. Interesting.
Updated my journal.
What about the Outlands? The Outlands are absolute neutrality, probably the best place for a body to visit is in the outer planes outside of Sigil. If you don't want to have a plane's morality forced into your heart, everything balances out in the Outlands as it should be. For the plane that sits at the center of the outer planes, powers realms are scattered about here, and there are handfuls of gate towns that open into the rest of the outer planes. The gate towns usually mirror the philosophy of the plane their gates are open onto. And if the balance of belief isn't kept in the town slips into the nearby plane. It is a bad situation for everyone because few of the folks in the towns really want that change. But enough of the Outlands. What more would you know? Okay, let's speak of the planes in general. What about... Guess we could talk about Prime Material at this point. Have I asked him everything about the inner planes? Yeah, he can't talk me about the positive one, surprisingly. He could probably fix himself if he went there. Restore himself. Tell me about the Prime Material. You want to know of the Prime visited, the boundless worlds that of that plane have an infinite variety, and as do the planes, but I cannot encapsulate them as I have here. Suffice it to say, they are the birth of the outer planes, the children of the inner, and they hold limitless potential within their boundaries. I see. What did you mean when you mentioned negation before? His eyes cloud over. I went to the inner plane to discover my true essence. I made the mistake of visiting the negative material plane in order to understand. Yeah. Told me that. Other questions. What are you doing? I am fresh back from negation, and I'm trying to restore my essence before it slips away from me altogether. That's pretty much all he can tell me. It's a nice conversation. Yep, Crickness. Yep, knows that you. Nice work back there, friend. He turns back to his drink. I don't remember what I did for him. I want to go talk to Maviv, perhaps. Maybe she has some new stuff to tell me.
Done.
As you enter, Mabev looks up, her face ashen. She looks ill. As you watch, creases spread across the folds of her face cracks, and her grey eyes flicker as if having trouble focusing on you. How? So Mabev was actually Ravel? What? I thought you might still be here, Mabev. Aye, she smiles weakly, and her voice is scratchy, as if trying to force its way past layers of dust. When she speaks, it's like an echo. I have a little longer. Mabev, your voice, you're speaking in Rael's voice. Who are you? She takes a deep breath. Her voice comes slowly, her voice rattling in her throat. Mayhap Mabev had forgotten herself many times over. I have dreamed that I was someone else. Each word is heavier than the last. As if centuries of weight are pressing down on them, her body seems to shift slightly, as if wanting to relax, let go. How could you not know who you are? How is it? You don't know, you're not yourself, Mabeth licks her lips. Many things, even bits of the self, they fall through memory's cracks. Shadows of things forgotten. These memory think pieces may be bad, may be good. But why Mabeth? Why disguise when you could have been Ravel again? Here in this place, all I did was the mending of things and bodies, sweating bones, delivering babes. In all those things I was content, she says. As for being that other, that Ravel, she licks her lips again. I think you take for granted what a comfort it could be of times to misplace a memory or two. I wasn't sure if you would be here, Mabeth, after what happened. Mabeth nods. Every moment is pained. I am a precious one. She winces and takes a breath. Seeing you here is like an echo. Little time remains, she treads these ravels, the unraveling as we speak. Are you in pain? She nods, yes. Yet it is the irony which hurts me the most. She gives a sickly smile. An act of kindness thrice repaid. It's the way of the plains that my few acts of kindness should be the death of me. She laughs so softly. Yet I have no regrets. I have questions, Mabeth. I need to know who did this to you. Can you... She holds up your hand to silence you. Precious man. I will have you hear me this last time. Very well. Precious man, she says. All I wished to do was set the lady free of her cage. For you, all I wished you was to live. And to me, daughter, she says, there is a saying on the plains that a hag's kindness is crueler than her hate, and poisons all it touches. I think we've seen the truth of that. I am dying now. She blinks her rheumy eyes. My end, it's traveling from all the time's directions. All of Ravel's threads are unraveling. She coughs, yet her grey eyes lock upon you. Mayhap not all is lost. One of my black barb seeds from the message being one with you. Oh, that's cool. Yes, I have. She takes the seed gingerly and she slips it into her grey locks. So the unity of rings is severed. Deserved. With a flicking glance, she raises her hand and beckons you to come closer. Step close to her and kneel down. She whispers something softly under her breath, then clasps your head in her hands and places a paper thin kiss upon your forehead. You close your eyes as her lips touch your skin. May the plains receive you kindly, Mabeth. This is kind of funny. Oh, sorry about that, not have been loud. I thought maybe she had some new spells, but she was like ready to die.
Done.
Maybe I could talk to Kisai Seri. See what she has to say now that Ravel is gone. What's this place? It's a portal to a dwelling. That's pretty much it. Can I not exit this place?
Done.
Oh, there we go. It's an ambush. Unlike other collectors you've seen, the robes on this one seem to be of fine quality. Another debtor has come to visit us. Please excuse the mess. My colleagues haven't had the time to tidy up. There's no way out. Why, sure there is. The door is right over there. But you need one of these to activate the portal. One of these to activate the portal holds up what appears to be a small glass bead. Come, let us talk price. I'm listening. Simple, you pay my comrades and me 100 coppers and give you the key to the portal. Here's the money, give me the key. My comrades and myself appreciate doing business with you. Simply crushing the glass bead will activate the portal. Okay. Small fragile glass bead containing the reagents needed to open a certain portal once. Simply crush to activate. Crush the bead. Yeah, there's the portal.
I'm gone.
I grew up here. Not a pleasant childhood, mind you.
Well, great, I guess. Cut dropped. Shouldn't walk into unknown portals. Okay, let's go to Cloakswood. Try to talk to Kisai if she has anything new to say.
Done.
Kisai smiles warmly as you draw near her, pushing a wavy lock of hair away from her bright crimson eyes. Well, greetings once again. Something I can do for you, I had other questions. If you don't mind my asking, what are you? The questions. Doesn't seem like she can comment on it. That's fine. Now, I could try to do Darkon's quest. And in order to do that, I need to ask him about the teachings of Zetriman. Darkon turns to you, his eyes like polished coal. His blade mirrors his eyes for a moment as you address him, and he nods. What is your will? There are things I would know, Darkon. I mean, Dakon. I have already kind of accustomed myself to saying Darkon. But I guess I could try to say Dakon. I will hear you. I wanted to ask you about our travels. What can you tell me about the city of Sigil? It is known by the name of Sigil among the people. It is known as the city that does not know itself. It doesn't know itself. What do you mean? The city exists, but it does not know itself. In not knowing itself, its existence is flawed. How is it flawed? The city exists in opposition to itself. It has set itself apart from its planes, yet it seeks to be everywhere at once. Its walls are doors, yet it keeps these doors locked. Such an existence tells of a thing that does not know itself. It is not knowing itself. It is flawed. What if the city is not flawed? The thing does not need to be ordered and have a purpose to know itself. What if these contradictions are strange that you cannot see? What if the city is not flawed and you just do not know the reasons for its contradictions? There is order in everything. Perhaps there is an underlying pattern that you cannot perceive. You speak as if the city is alive. And it may not be aware and know itself in the sense that you and I might know ourselves, but it lives. It grows, changes, and touches the minds of all that live within it. There are the things I would know. I will hear you. Dakon, Ravel called you a slave. What did she mean? The hag, she knows nothing. Dakon's Blaine's ripples, and you watch as the edges become great and dull. His face clenches and he speaks through his teeth. It is not my will to speak of this. I want to hear her speak of it. In fact, Ravel said a number of things in that conversation that interested me. Know that you Your will is my will. When you speak no, I must hear you. Know that your words may stay my blade or guide it so to the throat of another. What by why? Why? Dakon seems to look through you as if meeting your gaze is unbearable. Your path is my path. I am chained to you. You're my slave. But the word slave Dakon's face collapses in pain, as if he was struck. It is as if the word was a dagger stabbing at the core of his suffering. But why, Dakon? No, it is a long tale, and know that nothing is gained in the telling. I would hear it.
My journal.
The people do not allow themselves to be enslaved to another in deed or chains. If we find ourselves in such a cage, we act to free ourselves, even if it means we must endure another cage for a time. You performed a great service for me. In so doing, you enslaved me. I acted to free myself. Know that I surrendered my word and myself to act in your name until your death. But I can't die. That was not known to this one. I surrendered my word to him. I surrendered myself. Know that there is now nothing left that I may surrender except my life. Know now that I follow you only so I might die. What was that service I gave you that chained you? You saved this one life, in exchange your life became mine. How did I save your life? Upon the rolling plain of limbo, the people shaped cities from the chaos of their thoughts. Know that there is no place for a divided mind. Dakon raises the blade from his shoulder and holds it before him. As he stares at it, it sharpens until it is almost as thin as a piece of paper. Go on. A divided mind is an unfocused mind. A divided mind fractures walls and weakens stone. As Dakon speaks, the edges of the blade corrode slightly, the metal missing and melting along the edges. Many divided minds may destroy a city. Okay. Long have I known the words of Zetrimon. Through my voice many have come to know the words of Zetrimon. The Zerf protect the community from all threats, whether the body or the mind. They are the guiding stones in the chaos. So it came to pass that I spoke the words of Zetrimon without knowing the words of Zetrimon. I came to pass that I no longer knew myself. So you doubted the words? No. Dakon's voice is edged, and the blade sharpens in response. I knew the words, yet it came into my heart that perhaps others did not know the words as Zetrimon knew them, and so division formed. As my mind became divided, those that looked to me as a guiding stone became divided. Many scores of Githzerai, many hundreds of scores of Githzerai doubted. Shocked Lord died that day. So those that followed you came to doubt the words as well, and the city was weakened. The enemies of Zetrimon came, knowing that their hatred of words and the people lent to the blade's strength. Know that they sensed in the weakened city, and they brought war with them. Many Githzerai drowned in the chaos and beneath the blades of our enemies. Small beads of metal appear in the surface of the blade, as if it's blistering. No, this happened long ago. What happened to you? As I fell from the walls of shocked lore, know that myself was broken, my blade was missed, my mind divided. I was adrift upon limber's seas, and I wished to drown. I died for days, my mind a wish in division. When death finally came to me, it wore your skin, and it had your voice. Me? You ask that I hear you. As Dakon says the words, your vision bleeds outwards, and a crawling sensation begins to worm its way up through the back of your skull. You feel nauseous for a moment, and your vision is suddenly as chaos smeared, twisted, and you are someplace else, someplace in the past, surrendered to the memory. Everything around you is in turmoil, your vision is hazy, swirling, dizzying. All at once, there is mist, pockets of fire, islands of mud, stone, and ice-covered rocks swimming through the plain like a fish, impacting and dissolving droplets of water, arcing through the howling air, and lashing your skin like teeth. You choke back your nausea, and you state to yourself, this is the plane of limbo, all is chaos, nothing is stable. You focus on the dying man that lies before you. It is why you have come to this place. Echo, examine this earth, see if it still lives. The man is a Githzerai, his body embedded in an earthen pocket that swirls around him unconsciously. He has formed a grave from the elements, and through the bits of fire and water, a leak at his face, he does not respond. His hands are ashen, his cold black eyes focusing on nothing. His emaciated frame speaks of starvation, but you know it is the least of his wounds. It is faith that dealt him the mortal blow. Look at the blade he carries. In his limp left hand is a twisted mass of metal, its surface having melted around the hand like a gauntlet. As you watch, it steams and hisses like a diseased snake. The Githzerai does not seem to be aware of it, but it is that weapon that has brought you here, Dakon, Zerf, of Shellac Lord Drowning. Last wielder of the Karak blade, know that I have come to you with the words of Zethrimon, carved not in chaos but in stone, carved in the will of the unbroken circle. At the word Zethrimon, Dakon's eyes roll in their sockets, and they attempt to focus on you. With effort, he cracks his mouth to speak, but only a dry hiss emerges. You bring forth the stone from your pack and hold it before him so that he can see. Know that the words of Zethrimon inscribed upon the stone are true, and know that your divided mind need be divided no longer. All you must do is take the stone and you shall know yourself again. Dakon's eyes flicker over an unbroken circle of Zethrimon, and for a moment you think he might be too close to death to recognize it. Then the right hand twitches and he pulls it slowly from the earthen prison. He clumps a fur streaming off of become water in Limbo's chaotic winds. His skeletal hands clutch the stone like a drowning man, and his eyes flash. You can know that I have saved your life, Dakon, Zerfer Sharaktola. Dakon's eyes turn from the stone and flicker over you, and he hisses again to try for a moment to master his words. He blinks slowly, then speaks, his voice barely above a whisper. But the words are what you wanted to hear. My life is yours until yours is no more. Return to the present. Dakon is silent. I heard your words. The chaos in my mind became still. I knew myself again. So you got the circle from me? Yes and no, in its words I knew myself. Very well, there are other things I would know. Tell me about that other me, the incarnation you knew. What was he like? Dakon gaze travels through you, and he falls silent. Dakon? Know that he was different. Know that the difference were not marked on the skin, nor the way of the weapon, nor in the attire that clothed him. Know that he was different in the way of thought and the deeds he acted upon his thoughts. His will became substance. Know that he saw others and did not see them. He knew only how they could serve him. His heart was treacherous, and it was cold, and never did its coldness burn him. So that was probably the practical incarnation. Did it ever touch you, Darkon? Did he betray you? Darkon Blades begins playing into a dull flat back, and you watch as edges like teeth begin sprouting from the edge of the blade. His face clenches as he speaks through his teeth. It is not my will, you know of this. Tell me, Darkon, did he ever betray you? No, there are many treacheries. Any treachery upon me was by my hand, no other. Tell me, Darkon, what was the treachery? I surrendered my word to him. I surrendered myself. What are you talking about? Yeah, so that was the treachery, I guess. You said I gave you the circle of Zetrimon, Darkon. Yes, and now it's worse, I knew myself. Where did I get the circle? Can I talk to you about your teachings? Darkon waits. I wish to give up on my current profession regarding the study of weaponcraft during me now. Can you teach me anything of the art, Darkon? Know that the way of the people is not the same as the art you have come to know. It's not the energy that gives strength, it's knowing, the self that gives strength. The teachings of Zetrimon speak of such things. Would you teach me the way of Zetrimon, Darkon? Do you know what you have asked? The texture of Darkon blade flows until it becomes a stone. To walk the path of Zetrimon, you must know of the people, know the knowing of such things by one of not of the people is a difficult matter. There are those not of the people who have heard the way of Zetrimon, but they do not know the way. Do you know the way? Darkon, I want to know of the people and know Zetrimon's teachings. I believe there is wisdom to be learned in such things.
My journal.
Know that I have heard your words, and I shall test them. To learn, you must know the people. To know the people, you must know the unbroken circle of Zetrimon. Darkon holds up the stone, disc in his possession, and his spider-like fingers hook into its sides. There is a click, and the plates of the circle slide into a new configuration. He reverses the motion, sealing the stone. Know the first circle of Zetrimon is open to you. Study it, then I will hear your words. I will read the first circle, then in the meantime I had other things I would know. Very well, I will examine it, then speak with you again. Awesome. Negative token. This is the thing that was given to me in the bar. Hold shadow creatures temporarily. This is a negative token, a flat black disc that appears to have no substance to it at all. Turning it over reveals that it has no third dimension. There is no thickness to this item at all. It gives you some command over creatures of shadow. To the creatures of shadow. You can command them to stand still for a few precious seconds. The more powerful the shadow, the less likely it will obey your command. As an added benefit, as long as this token is carried by any of your party members, it acts as a ward against shadows. It will not prevent shadows from attacking your group, but the shadows will find it more difficult to harm you while the token is carried. Okay. Might be really useful in the Fortress of Regrets. Let's study the circle. The small round stone is the unbroken circle of Zetrimon. It is made up of a series of interlocking circles that fold out from one another. The complexity of the plates and the intricacy of the links prove the text was constructed by a master artisan. True enough, unlock the first plate as Darkon showed you. You mirror the motions that Dakan made upon the circle, and the plates give way at your touch, the rings sliding into a new configuration. Upon the rings are a series of symbols. The script is like no writing you have ever seen. It is a series of interlocking geometries with the circles predominating. Just looking at it, you know the symbols and know you can read them. Read the first circle. Know that we are the first people. Once all was chaos, the first people were forthdrawn from chaos. When the first people came to know themselves, they were chaos no longer and became flesh. With their thoughts and knowing of matter, the people shaped the first world and dwelled there with their knowing to sustain them. Yet the flesh was new to the people, and with it the people came not to know themselves. The flesh gave rise to new thoughts, greed and hates, pains and joys, jealousies and doubts. All of these fed on each other, and the minds of the people were divided. In their division, the people were punished. The emotions of the flesh were strong, the greed and hates, the pains and joys, the jealousies and doubts. All of these served as a guiding stone to enemies. In becoming flesh, the first people became enslaved to those who knew flesh only as tools for their will. No, these beasts were the Illithids. The Illithids were a race that had come not to know themselves. They had learned how to make other races not know themselves. Yeah, Illithids could do that. They were the tentacled ones. They lived in flesh and saw flesh as tools for their will. Their blood was as water, and they shaped minds with their thoughts. When the Illithids came upon the people were a people no more. The people became slaves. The Illithids took the people from the first world and brought them to the false worlds. As the people labored upon the false worlds, the Illithids taught them the way of the flesh. Through them, the people came to know loss. They came to know suffering. They came to know death, both of the body and mind. They came to know what it is to be the herd of another and have their flesh consumed. They came to know the horror of being made to feel joy in such things. The unbroken circle is the knowing of how the people lost themselves and how they came to know themselves again.
Endure. In enduring, grow strong.
So what does
What is your will?
Dakon has to tell me now? Can I talk to you about your teachings? I have read the Brocu Circle of Zethrimon. I want to speak to you more about the way of Zethrimon. What did you come to know? Strength lies in knowing oneself. I learned that once someone does not know themselves, they are lost. They become a tool for others.
Updated my journal.
You have come to know the first circle of Zethrimon. You do not only see the words of Zethrimon, you have come to know them. Dakon holds up the circle and hooks its fingers around the edges. There is a click, and the plates of the circle slide into a new configuration. He reverses the motion, sealing the stone. No, the second circle of Zethrimon is open to you. Study it, then I will hear your words. I think that's an interesting thought about knowing themselves. If you don't, you're kind of a tool for others. I think there's some grain of truth in that, but it's not universal, so to say, I don't think. Very well. Unlock the second circle. Read the second circle. Know that flesh cannot mark steel. Know that steel may mark flesh. In knowing this, Zethrimon became free. Continue reading the symbols. Know that the tentacled ones were flesh. They relied on the flesh and used it as tools for their will. One of the planes where flesh served the will was the flesh, the fiends of husks in the on the false words of the Illithids. The fields of husks. The fields of where the bodies of people were cast after the Illithids had consumed their brains. When the brain had been devoured, the husks came to be fertilizer to grow the poison-stemmed grasses of the Illithids. Zethrimon walked the fields with no knowing of himself or what he had become. He was a tool of flesh, and the flesh was content. It was upon these fields of Zethrimon It was upon these fields that Zethrimon came to know the scripture of steel. During one of the turnings, as Zethrimon tilled the fields with his hands, he came across a husk whose brain remained within it. It had not been used as food, yet it was dead. The thought that one of the husks had died a death without serving as food for the Illithids was a thought Zethrimon had difficulty understanding. From that thought came a desire to know what had happened to the husk. Embedded in the skull of the husk was a steel blade. It had pierced the bone. Zethrimon realized that was what killed the husk. The steel had marked the flesh, but the flesh had not marked the steel. Oh, interesting. Zethrimon took the blade and studied its surface. In it he saw his reflection, and it was in the reflection of the steel that Zethrimon first knew himself. Its edge was sharp, its will the wearer's. It was the blade that would come to be raised against Gif when Zethrimon made the pronouncement of two skies. Zethrimon kept the blade for many turnings, and many buried thoughts he had about it. He used it in the fields to aid his work. In using it, he thought about how it was not used. The Illithids were powerful. Zethrimon had believed that there was nothing they could not. Zethrimon had believed that there was nothing that they did not know. Yet the Illithids never carried tools of steel. They only used flesh as tools. Everything was done through flesh. For the tentacled ones were made of flesh, and they knew flesh, yet steel was superior to flesh. When the blade had killed the husk, it was the flesh that had been weaker than the steel. It was then that Zethrimon came to know that flesh yielded to steel. In knowing that, he came to know that steel was stronger than the Illithid. That's so cool. Steel became the scripture of the people. Know that steel is the scripture by which the people came to know freedom. I see.
I hear your words. What is your will?
There are things I would know, Drakan. Can I talk to you about your cheats? I have read the Unbroken Circle of Zethrimon. I want to speak about the way of Zethrimon. What did you come to know? I learned that not knowing something can be a tool, just like flesh and steel. If upon encountering it, you attempt to know its nature, how it came to be. To know its nature and find out how it came to be. Interesting. You have seen the words, and you have seen beyond them. You have come to know the second circle of Zethrimon. He takes the circle, and with a deft motion he twists one of the links so one of the plates slides forth. But strangely enough, the stone still appears intact. He hands the plate to you. Meditate upon its teaching, and the knowing of it shall give you strength. When you have absorbed it, you shall know more. Very well, I will study the circle. Yet I would still know more of Zetrimon's teaching. Darkran's fingers feel around the edges and the stone circle, and he twisted clockwise. The next circle of Zetrimon is open to you. Study it, and I will hear your words. Okay. I have the... Oh, wait! I can copy a spell. Allow the user to copy Scripture of Steel into spellbook. So what is this spell even? Oh, I get... No, wait. Scripture of Steel. One of the earliest teachings of Zetrimon, this incantation reflects what knowing that flesh yields to steel achieves, bestowing a greater advantage to strike and the strength to resist damage. +1 and +1 to saving throws to all creatures that are friendly to the caster. And 70-foot radius from the casting point. Not terribly useful, but interesting nonetheless. Unlock the third circle. Zetrimon labored many turnings for the Illithid. Alafi, twice deceased, and his partnership and the cavernous heavens of the false wolves. In his duties would have broken the backs of many others, but Zetrimon labored on, suffering torment and exhaustion. It came to pass that the Illithid, Alafi, twice deceased, ordered Zetrimon before him in his many-veined Galleria. He claimed that Zetrimon had committed slights of obstinance and cowardice against his partnership. The claim had no weight on truth, for Arlafi only wished to know if flames raged within Zetrimon's heart. He wished to know if Zetrimon's heart was one of a slave or a rebel. Zethrimon surrendered to the Illithid's punishment rather than reveal his newfound strength. He knew that were he to show the hatred in his heart, it would serve nothing, and it would harm others that felt as he. He chose to endure the punishment that was placed within the pillars of silence, so he might suffer for returning. Lashed upon the pillars, Zethrimon moved his mind to a place where pain could not reach. Leaving his body behind, he lasted a turning, and when he was brought before Lafi, twice deceased, he gave gratitude for his punishment to the Illithid, as was the custom. In so doing, he proved himself a slave for the Illithid's eyes, while his heart remained free. By enduring and quenching the fires of his hatred, he allowed Lafi, twice deceased, to think him weak. When the time of rising came, Erlafi was the first of the Illithid to know death by Zephyrimon's hand and the third death. The small round stone is the unbroken circle of Zephyrimon. It is made up of a series of interlocking circles. Yep. That was interesting. I'm not sure what the lesson on that would be. Let's see. Endure and enduring grows strong. Yeah. The words you speak seem to strike Darkon strangely. As you speak them, his forehead creases, then resettles into a normal passive expression. Your will has brought you to the knowing of the third circle of Zethrimon. With this knowing, I impart this to you. He takes the circle, and with a deft motion, he twists one of the links so one of the plates slides forth. He hands you the plate. Meditate upon his teachings. Is there more you can teach me? As you ask the words, you suddenly notice Dakon isn't looking at you. He is holding the unbroken circle in his hands, studying it. His blades has taken on the same texture as the unbroken circle, and Dakon suddenly seems older somehow. Dakon's black eyes rise from the circle and look at you. Know that I did not believe you would come to know the teachings of the circle. It is a difficult path you will walk in the way of Zephyrimon. Is your mind focused on the matter? Yes, I wish to learn more. Dakon's fingers feel around the edges of the stone circle, and he twisted clockwise, the links clicking until they have settled into a new configuration. He then reverses the motions, resetting the stone. The next circle Zethrimon is open to you. Study it. A spell. I have the spell already. Submerge the will. Interestingly enough, I didn't have the... Or maybe I did have it. That's why it didn't disappear. Unlock the fourth circle. You slide the plates into the configuration Dakon showed you. Read the fourth circle. Know that the rising of the people against the Illithid was a thing built upon many turnings of labor. Many of the people were gathered and taught in secret the ways of defeating the Illithid masters. They were taught to shield their minds and use them as weapons. They were taught the scripture of steel, and most importantly, they were given the knowing of freedom. Some of the people learned the nature of freedom and took it into their hearts. The knowing gave them strength. Others feared freedom and kept silent. But there were those that knew freedom and knew slavery, and it was their choice that the people remained chained. One of these was Wilkor. Wilkor saw no freedom in the rising, but opportunity. He saw that the Illithid had spawned across many of the false worlds. Their worlds numbered so many that their vision was turned only outwards, to all they did not already touch. Wilkor's eye saw that much took place that the Illithid did not see. To the rising, the Illithid were blinded. Wilkor came before his master, the Illithid Jizitaris, with the knowing of the rising. Wilkor added to his chains and offered to be the eyes against the rising. In exchange, Wilkor asked that he be rewarded for his service. The Illithid agreed to this contract. At the bonding of the contract, a dark time occurred. Many were the betrayals of Wilkor committed, and many were the people that the Illithid fed upon to stand the rising. It seemed that the rising would die before it could occur, and the Illithid were pleased with Wilkor's eye. It was near the end of the dark time when Zethrimon came to know Wilcor's treacheries. In knowing Wilcor's eye, Zethrimon forced the rising to silence itself, so that Wilcor might think at last his treacheries had succeeded, and the rising had fallen. He knew that Wilcor's eye was filled only with the reward he had been promised. He would see what he wished to see. With great beating in his heart, Wilcor came upon the Illithid Jijtaris and spoke to his master of his success. He said that the rising had fallen, and the Illithid were safe to turn their eyes outwards once more. He praised their wisdom in using Wilcor's eye, and he asked them for his reward. In his great blindness, Wilcor had forgotten the knowing of why the people had sought freedom. He had lost the knowing of what slavery meant. He had forgotten what his Illithid masters saw when they looked upon him, and so Wilcor's betrayal of the people was ended with another betrayal. Wilcor came to know that when Wilcor's eye had nothing left to see, Wilcor's eye was useless. The Illithid gave to Wilcor his reward, opening the cavity of his skull and devouring his brain. Wilcor's corpse was cast upon the fields of husk, so its blood might water the poison stem grasses. Ooh.
What is your will?
Can you talk to you about teachings? I've read the circle. What did you come to know? When one chooses to see only what is before him, they see only a part of the whole. They are blind, and just as Wilcor was blinded by his promised reward, so were the Illithids blinded to the true rising. For when they heard Wilcor's words, they turned their sight outwards again, didn't they? And the rising was free to strike. Know that you speak truly. Wilcor's eye blinded both Wilcor and the Illithids. The tentacled ones thought the rising to be no more. When the rising occurred, the ground drank deep of Illithid blood. So was victory born from treachery. It's a curious lesson. Why would be a part of the teachings of Zethrimon? Dalcon's blade bleeds into a dead night black, and his voice deepens. For a moment, you think he's angry, but you're not so sure. There is much about the way of Zethrimon and his path that is difficult to know. Do you know why Wilcor's eye is part of the way of Zethrimon? It is part of the telling of how our people came to know freedom. It lets us know that there are those, even among the people, who are not of the people, and that even in the greatest treachery, a greater knowing may be achieved. You have come to know the Forsake of Zethrimon. I will read the fifth one. In the meantime, Wilcor's eye. Read the fifth. Zethrimon was the first to know the way of freedom. It was not the first, yet it was not he that first came to know the way of rebellion. The knowing of rebellion came to the warrior Queen Gif, one of the people. She had served the Illithids upon many of the false worlds as a soldier, and she had come to know war and carried it in her heart. She had come to know how others might be organized, to subjugate others. She knew the paths of power, and she knew the art of taking them from the conquerors, the weapons by which they could be defeated. Her mind was focused, and both her will and her blade were as one. The turning in which Zethrimon came to know gift, Zethrimon ceased to know himself. Her words were as fires and lit in the hearts of all who heard her. In hearing her words, he wished to know more. He knew not what afflicted him, but he knew he wished to join his blade to give. He wished to give his hate expression and share his pain with the Illithid. Gif was one of the people, but her knowing of herself was greater than any Zephrymon had ever encountered. She knew the ways of flesh, she knew the Illithids, and in knowing herself she was to know how to defeat them in battle. The strength of her knowing was so great that all those that walked her path came to know themselves. Gif was but one. Her strength was such that it caused others to know their strength, and Zethrimon laid his steel at her feet.
What is your will?
Can I talk to you about teachings? What did you come to know? There is a great strength in numbers, but there is great power in one. For the strength of the will of one may gather numbers to it. There is strength not only in knowing the self, but knowing how to bring it forth in others. You have come to know the fifth circle of Zethrimon. With this knowing I impart this to you. Okay. Next circle. The sixth. Read the circle. Upon the blasted plains, Zethrimon told Gif there cannot be two skies. In the wake of his words came war. Upon the blasted plains, the people had achieved victory of their Illithid masters. They knew freedom. Yet before the green fires had died from the battlefield, Gif spoke of continuing the war. Many still, filled with the bloodlust in their hearts, agreed with her. She spoke of not merely defeating the Illithid, but destroying all Illithid across the plain. After the Illithids had been exterminated, they would bring war to all other races they encountered. Why though? In Gif's heart, fires raged. She lived in war, and in the war she knew herself. All that her eyes saw, she wanted to conquer. Zethrimon spoke the beginnings of that which was against Gif's will. He spoke that the people already knew freedom. Now they should know themselves again and mend the damage that had been done to the people. Behind his words were many others' hearts of the people who were weary of the war against the Illithid. No, the Gif's heart was not Zethrimon's heart on this matter. She said that the war would continue, the Illithid would be destroyed, the flesh would be no more, then the people would claim the false word as their own. Gif told Zethrimon that they would be under the same sky in this matter. The words were like barred steel. The words were like barred steel. From Zethrimon came the pronouncement of the two skies, in which, in the wake of the wars, came war.
What is your will?
I've read the circle. What did you come to know? I know that Zethrimon's devotion to the people was such that he was willing to protect them from themselves. He knew the Illithids had come not to know themselves in their obsession with control and domination, so he chose to stop Gif before she carried the people to their deaths. There must be balance in all things, or else the self will not hold. You have seen the words and know them. He makes no move to hand them to you. Two plates in his hand. Darkon, is that second plate for you? Darkon falls silent. His blade has ceased shimmering. His film freezing upon itself as he staring at the second blade, paralyzed. Do you know the sex circle? Darkon looks up, but his cold black eyes do not meet your gaze. No, there's nothing more I may teach you. You know the way of the people. Know it, and it shall give you the direction by which you may know yourself. That's not what I asked. Do you know the sixth circle or not? Darkon is silent for a moment, then speaks, his voice slow and careful. It has come to pass that I do not know the sixth circle of Zetrimon. Once I knew it, but I know now that I only saw the words. Darkon's eyes stare through you, that is all. It's my path that I no longer know the way of Zetrimon. Darkon, there is one other thing that I would know. Why is Velniker's eye in the circle of Zetrimon? It seems strange. It tells of how the people benefit from a treachery from their own, it seems. Darkon's eyes flash. I have told you, it is a part of the telling of how the people came to know freedom. Do you not listen? His voice flattens, as if he is dredging passages from the memory. It tells the people that even in the greatest treachery, a greater knowledge may be achieved. It doesn't sound to me like you believe that. I think there is another reason for Laker's eye in the circle of Zetrimon. It is set there because of the sixth circle and the pronouncement of the skies. It is there to justify Zetrimon's treachery to the people upon the blessed plains. Darkon is silent as his blade bleeds into a dead black, teeth flipping along the edge. He divided the people upon the blessed plains, Darkon. He divided your race when they were on the path of victory. I would like to believe that it was because he wished to save the people from themselves, but I don't think you believe that. Darkon is silent for a moment, then he speaks slowly. I do not know the sixth circle as it is known to others. I fear that this third circle, the fourth circle, and the sixth circle are more closely linked than many know. It is in that knowing that I have lost myself. Oh, I see. In the third circle, Zertrimon submerged his will to deceive the Illithids. Then, the fourth circle, it speaks of the benefits of treachery. Then in the sixth circle, Zertrimon devised these people before they exterminate the Illithids. Do you think Zetrimon's words may not have been his own? Know my words, and know the wound that lies upon my heart. I fear that when Zethrimon was upon the pillars of silence, he did not submerge to his will. I fear his will was taken from him by the Illithids, and when he spoke upon the blessed plains, it was the words he spoke. I fear that what he did was not of the people's sake, but for a former master's. Oh my god. It might be true. It's possible, but no, it doesn't necessarily mean. Then know this and speak of it no more. Darkon's voice is like a knife. Know that I shall never know the truth. There is no resolution to this matter. I shall never know. Zestrimon's heart upon the blessed plains. His cold black eyes glare at the stone circle in his hand. And so I do not know myself because of the unbroken circle of Zentrimon. Very well, Darkan, we'll discuss this no more. I feel like I messed up, kind of.
What is your will?
Can I talk to you about your teachings? What did you come to know? Let's move on.
I will hear you.
Examine the plate, see if you can puzzle out any new combinations. As you examine the rings of the second circle, you find a strange link in the plate that mentions the laboring of the gift people to achieve the rising. A new circle emerges from the link. As you unlock it, pulling the plate forth, you can study it, read the symbols. Know that a new circle emerges. Oh, a whole new circle. Know that the rising of the people against the Illithid was built upon many turnings. Many were the people who lived and died under the time's blade while the rising was shaped. The rising was shaped upon a slow foundation, steel was gathered so that it might mark Illithid flesh. A means of knowing the movement of the Illithids was established. At first weak and confused and stronger, like a child finding its voice. When the movements were known, then the Illithids were observed. In observing them, their ways of the mind were known. When the ways of Illithid were known, many of the people were gathered and taught in secret the means to shield their minds, and the way to harness their will as weapons. They were taught the scripture of steel, and most importantly, they were given the knowing of freedom. These things were not learned quickly. The knowing of much of the ways was slow, and in all these things time weights fell upon all, from the knowing of one's reflection in a steel blade, to the knowing of submerging the will, to the knowing of seeing itself. All of these things and more the people built upon. In time, they came to know the whole. I'm in the circle again. It's like a 7th circle.
What is your will?
I want to talk to you about teaching. Darkon waits. I have read this Unbroken Circle on Zetrimon. There was a 7th circle within a stone of Zetrimon. It spoke of the building of the rebellion against the Illithid. Darkons fall silent. What does this 7th circle speak of? It speaks of time as an ally, not an enemy. It says that patience can sharpen even the smallest of efforts into a weapon that can strike the heart of an empire. Your victories may be small, but over time a greater victory may be achieved. Darkon silent for a moment. Will you make this circle known to me? Take the Unbroken Circle of Zetrimon and unlock the 7th circle. As you take the circle and twist the links, 2 plates from the slide, Broken Circle seems intact. The 7th circle remains. Darkon watches you silently. There are 2 plates here. Perhaps we should both study them, you and I. Darkon is silent for a moment. There is much you have come to know of the circle, and your knowing carries a greater weight than mine. Darkon matches your gaze. Know that your path is mine, and it shall come to pass that as you know the way of Zephrymon from me, I shall know the way of Zephrymon from you. Yeah, that's good. That's pretty good. Very well, Darkon, let's move on. 7th circle. Missile of Patience. Let's give that to Darkon. What does it do? Could the spell be any more useless? Cried Elnick, Mage of Amnar. The bane of mages everywhere. Could this be the practical joke of an archmage, or living disproof of the old prime material axiom that good things come to those who wait? It's like no damage, no range, no speed. It's just have to cast it and wait, it seems.
What is your will?
Examine the place, see if you can puzzle out any new combinations. As you examine the rings on the 7 circles of Zetrimon, you suddenly become aware of the pattern in the way the links are formed. You hook your finger into the slides of the circle and unlock a hidden segment, pulling the plate forward so you can study it. Read the symbols. Know that a mind divided divides a man. The will and the hand must be as one. In knowing the self, one becomes strong. Know that if you know a course of action to be true in your heart, do not betray it because the path leads to hardship. Know that without suffering, the rising would have never been, and the people would never have come to know themselves. Know that there is nothing in all the worlds that can stand against unity. When all know a single purpose, when all hands are guided by one will, and all act on the same intent, the planes themselves may be moved. A divided mind is one that does not know itself. When it is divided, it cleaves the body in two. When one has a single purpose, the body is strengthened. In knowing, the self grows strong.
What is your will?
It seems like how Darkon speaks. There was an eighth circle within the stone of Zethrimon. I spoke of division of the mind and the importance of focus. What does this eighth circle speak of? It speaks of focus and discipline, about how not knowing oneself can physically divide the man. It also speaks of the weaknesses that division causes. It seems to me that it tells one to not only know themselves and take strength from that, but your focus can reveal weakness in your enemy. Would you make this circle known to me? Take the unbroken circle and unlock the eighth circle. Tarkan watches you silently. There are two plates here. We should both study them, you and I. I think when you know the eighth circle, perhaps then you will know Zethrimon's heart when he made the pronouncement of two skies. His words were not those of the Illithids, but of the people. Tarkan stares at the plates, his eyes flickering over the geometries upon them, then looks up and matches your gaze. His blade bends, shifts, and shimmering notice he has become. A silver glow. He seems stronger somehow. He got strength in this dexterity and constitution. Know that when death comes for you, know that I shall meet its blade with mine. Know that when all dies around you, know I shall live for your sake. When we die, Darkon, it shall be the same death. It shall be pronouncement of two deaths as one.
Updated my journal.
Glows in the circle. It's so cool. Zethrimon's focus. Can you not give this to him? Oh, he learned it before me. Yeah, he has some cool stuff now. Oh, it's like on the floor. The circles. I can't fall from grace on them. No, doesn't seem like it. Balance on all things. Examine the place, see if you can puzzle out any new combinations. Examine the circle carefully, studying the links and training patterns, but no new circles reveal themselves. Yeah, it seems that's it. That was pretty good actually. Interesting to know all this. Darkon is like probably my favorite companion out of all this, because he's like so how would I say it? He's like a homie, like a true homie, you know? Like, my blade is yours, and that's it. Yeah, let's go kill your mortality. Let's talk the fall from grace. If I may ask, Lady Grace, the wings on your back, you're not human, I take it. She's one of the fiends, one of the succubi She'll take your measure, then she'll take your soul to the lower plane, so she will. That's correct, I'm lesser than Ari, more specifically, a succubus. She gives a soft sigh. I'm afraid very little to common in the lower planes, and elsewhere for our own good. Most of my race spend their time seducing mortals with various pleasures of the flesh. And you? I'd like to think that I have distance myself from that. It is ultimately a trivial and unproductive way for one to spend one's time here in the multiverse. There is much more to life, wouldn't you agree? Perhaps so.
Yes.
Can you tell me more about the Tanari? The Tanari are fiends. Some call them demons. They have embraced evil for chaos' sake. They dwell upon the poisoned plains in the abyss, where they feed on their own rage and lash out across the multiverse, spoiling all they touch. They forever seek to tempt others into committing crimes of passion and vice. How did you end up in Sigil? It's a long tale and not as interesting as I would make it out to be, she sighs. It is intertwined in other tales of foreign slavery. It is not a pleasant tale. I would still hear it. Very well. Know that my past is not a long one, at least by Tanari standards. I do not know if you are familiar with the Tanari, but we are the race of the Abyss, a staggered series of planes filled with chaos and evil hearts. I am a Tanari, a fiend, a succubus. I grew up on the first plane of the Abyss. My mother was a succubus herself, and I'm sure you are aware succubi tempt mortals to bring their souls into the Abyss. My mother was among the finest, seducing countless mortal men to their eternal damnation. She now dwells in the Abyss, selling her children into slavery. Your mother sold you into slavery? Yes. She sold me to the Batizu, the blood enemies of the Tanari. I think she rather expected that they would kill me, despite her knowledge of other subjects. She knew little of their culture and the delight they take in tormenting others. Why did you escape? The Batizu are a proud species. The thought of a Tanari could best them at anything was intolerable to them. So I challenged one of the proudest of the pit fiends to a contest of improvisation, and my Tanari nature afforded me an advantage, you see. The Tanari are creatures of chaos, wild and unpredictable. The Batizu are more cunning, with elderly hearts. They understand improvisation, but they are not its best practitioners, and thus I won my freedom, and my path brought me to Sigil. That's pretty cool. Why did you set up the brothel? I established the brothel that gives those lesser feelers that are the more mind more avenues of expression rather than simply carnal. Why did you do that? Part of the answer to that question requires that you know that I am a member of Society of Sensation. Our faction believes that one should experience as much of the multiverse as possible. That's why you established the brothel. The brothel is intended to slay the lusts of even the hardened intellectual. It is designed to stimulate the mind, to heighten one's awareness of themselves and others, to create new ways of experiencing another person. It is for those who seek something more than shallow physical pleasures. I see. The brothel is a school of sorts. Yes, I hope that by learning the art of language and its subtleties that the patrons and the students may learn more about themselves. One is only as limited as the command of the language. To be able to employ language to evoke emotions in others is a tremendous skill. Yeah, it is. When you were in Ravel's maze, Ravel said you were tormented. Are you in pain? Fall from Grace silent for a moment, her gaze becoming distant. When she turns back to you, her eyes are a strange shade of azure, a shade that speaks of sadness and tears. Ravel sees much in her black, brambled eyes, some things which are hidden in others' eyes, even things about their own natures. She shakes her hand slowly. Sometimes the pain makes itself known. I have learned it is a difficult thing to turn on one's nature. Are you alright? She smiles very faintly, and she makes you guess. Yes, you are kind to ask. The pain still makes itself known, but I came to terms with my nature many centuries ago. Grace stops you before you continue. I thank you for asking about my well-being. Your concern is not unwelcome. I just wanted to make sure you're alright. I had some other questions. I'd like to hear about your past. But some other questions. Oh, that was just one branch of the Tanari, it seems. How did you come by the name of Fall from Grace? The meaning of names is a complicated subject. There is much to be said, and a great deal of that is better left unsaid. Is Fall from Grace your real name? Perhaps, she smiles slightly, perhaps not. There are many names that are given that are earned. Who's to say which one is the real one? I think the one name which is earned carries the greater weight. That may be so. Why did you think that? Because a name that is earned is not arbitrary. A name that is earned tells of what you had accomplished. Your point is well taken. So why are you called Fall from Grace? Would it matter? She smiles. It's an earned name. It matters to me. I would like to know how you came to be called that. I have fallen from my people. Some would say risen from my people, perhaps, but fall feels more right to me. She looks at you questioningly. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. After all, fall carries with it an underlying sense of loss. Fall from Grace is silent for a moment. Then she nods thoughtfully. Yes, perhaps that is why it felt as it did. I came to terms with the loss long ago, but the name has remained. Are you sure that you've come to terms with it? Ravel didn't seem to think that you had. Fall from Grace is silent for a moment, her gaze becoming distant. When she turns back to you, her eyes are a strange shade of azure. A shade of speaks to sadness and tears. Are you going to be alright? Yeah, it seems that's basically everything I can learn. What about Anna? Anna just looks at you when you address her and she frowns. Aye, what do you want now? Are you alright? Anna just glares at you. I want to ask you some questions. What did you ask that stuck up succubus in your questions then? Anna says, narrow to sit. Why are we traveling with her? We don't need her, we don't. Anna, please, you're very important to me. I just need you, and I need your help. And I want you with me, not her. If she bothers you, I'll ask you to leave. I don't have time to argue with this with you, Anna. Anna, please, you're very important to me. That's why... And why is that then? This should be rich. It should. You pity me? Is that it? You think I slow you down? Go on, say it. I don't pity you and you don't slow me down. You're quick, you're skilled, and I really need the help I can get. And these are the conversations I basically had in some of the streams, I think. But since I haven't spoken to her at length in this particular save, that's why it's back here again. Anna frowns, her tail flicking back and forth. High. Well, no. I'll get her if she starts sizing up for a feast table. She glares at you. And I don't get any ideas. I'm staying because you want me to. I'm just helping you out. I had some questions. Had a question about how you found my body. What? Well, what were you doing looking up for bodies in the pregnant alley? I mean, you could have had to creep your way through the tenement, then past the daybus to get there, and the place isn't even heavily trafficked as the rest of the hive. So why would you even look to bodies there? Anna shrugs. The rest of the hives is picked clean, it is. Got to find new spots to poach the others, you know. As Anna speaks, you feel a crawling sensation in the back of your skull, and you suddenly realize she's lying to you. Are you sure, Anna? There must be something in your tone, because it stops Anna stale dead for a moment. Then it resumes a little slower than before. I think... She frowns. And she seems a little uncertain. I don't usually go there to scrap the others. I don't to think of it. I'd never even been there before. It just kind of came across it. So why'd you go there? I don't know. I just did. And lucky for you I did, or you'd still be there. The same crawling sensation as before warms up in the back of your skull, and with it comes another realization. Anna's lying, but oddly enough she doesn't know she's lying. Oh, that's interesting. And I'm really compelled to go there. Is that how you found me?
My journal.
She nods slowly. I may have. She gives a half-hearted shrug. It wasn't one of my usual haunts, but I couldn't help myself. I just wanted to see what was there that day. And there you were, did a timber. She pauses. You were like a lodestone, you were. I don't know what led me to find you. That's curious. And did you find anything on my body before you brought it to the mortuary? And looks at you warily. Her tail stops flicking for a moment, then resumes slow enough before I make up. I found something, but if I found anything, it is mine by right. It is the other bits that in ferret's keeping. And I don't have time for games. What did you find on my corpse? Well, he had some fist irons, he did, and a little bit of jing, but I left that for the dusties, so when they think I was a little bit honest. You had an ugly ring that I kept. She dips her finger into her arm bracers and pulls forth a small ring with a stone mounted on it. What frightens more than the jink on the irons? It was. She studies the ring and squints. Too bad it's too ugly to bear. I'd like that ring back now. She studies the ring with a frown, glances at you, then back at the ring with a sneer. She flicks the ring to you. Don't want the ugly thing anyway, didn't. What did you mean by ferret's keeping? That's a lot of corpses. Yeah, he has a safe, a portal dimension where he keeps all this stuff. The tribute, yeah. Now what you talking about? You point to Bob. I have no cause to do such a thing, Pars. Done me no harm. Well, good. I'm warning you against such a thing. The Empire can be deaf sometimes, but he is a mean and all. Thin split when he gets worked up. And he loves his keepsakes, he does. But where would he keep it all? He's been at the village for as long as he says he would have amassed quite a collection. And he's left to the hall to get his tribute when he needed it. He won't want to walk far with the legs with that lame legs of his, and that's true, but only if you don't watch him careful. He isn't lame, though he puts on a fair show about being weak in the leg. So that crutch of his could be a portal key. Anna frowns in the thought of the moment. So there's a thought, she shrugs. I don't know how to use it though, maybe you just need to have it. Yeah. In the mines, Ravel said you were tormented. What did she mean? She meant nothing. She did. Bar meat hack talk it was. Are you sure? It was nothing. If you don't know what she was saying, I don't either. Well, if you want to talk about it, I'm listening. Anna's gaze dropped for a moment. I don't know why I'm traveling with you. I don't know why I went with you to find Ravel. She frowns, but she seems more confused than angry. It makes no sense, it does, and I don't like it. Anna takes a deep breath. I think I have feelings for him. It feels strange, it does. I don't think I've ever liked anyone, but yeah. Anna gives a half-hearted shrug without meeting your gaze. I do not know what it is about you. I mean, you're daft a lot of times. You walk like your hips are broken, you're clumsy, you smell like a zombie, but she's like, I like you. And why did you say something? We could have settled in this long before. It's cause I think you're doomed. Anna suddenly misses your gaze. I think you walk with chains, but you don't know it yet. So I feel for you, but I'm not afraid of you. And that's killing me. I'm not afraid for you, and that's killing me. It is. I cannot let you come to harm, but I don't know what to do to stop it. And my only option is to kiss you. You grab the back of your neck with your free hand and you watch Anna's features go to stone as you pull her to you and kiss you on the lips. At first, it's like kissing a wall, then she starts slowly kissing your back. It's hesitant at first, then she with more confidence, her teeth slightly bite your upper lip. You hear her snarl in the back of her throat, and her tail starts sneaking around your leg, then squeezing. Excuse matching one of your friends. Would you two cut it out before I have to get They was over here to separate the two of you. Morty-hams. At least allow me to cut in. As you kiss, you suddenly notice that Lana's skin is becoming warm. It's radiating heat like hot coals. You pull back, and Steve giving one last bite, and she looks at you in confusion. Then anger. What is it then? I'm not good at it, am I? No, it's your skin. Why are you getting so worried about this sudden? Why? Anna frowns and looks down at herself. You notice small wisps of smoke trailing from the edges of her jerkin. Fiend blood it is, she raises an eyebrow. Never had that happen before though. What, no one ever kissed you before? She says, no one ever dared to. And even if they did, the output wouldn't be like that. I'll take that as a compliment then. Anna glances around and her tail's looking erratically. Are we gonna keep moving now or what? You don't have time to be studying and chatting with them. And they have, well, I'm not done kissing you yet, commission. She stares back around. Nah, who knows what could happen next? Maybe my body will turn to flame, it will. You and your lips keep distance, alright? This time, let's move on. This was kind of funny.
From the dead in a place like this.
And I don't think Morte has anything new to say. Same thing, more Morten.
Done.
All that's left is check out the ending with the bronze sphere. Oh, and destroy Ignis as well. Just to see what happens.
I'm gone. Done.
Gaudy ring. +1 to armor class. That's the ring that Anna gave me. She can keep it. Let's save. Cast power war kill on this guy. Oh, it did not. Oh, it did work. Can Drusilla say something now? I feel kind of bad for doing this. Logan Traveler? Where's that burning thing? Oh, she has no conversation about it.
Done.
Interesting.
I'm gone.
He might come back though. Have a feeling. So let's go
Done.
rest. Could I rest here? How much for a bed? 5 coppers.
I'm gone.
Back to the mortuary now.
I'm gone.
It's got some questions, I guess. Would like to enter the mortuary. Here to pay respects. Alright.
All right.
I'm in no trouble. I will go speak to the guide. Basically fool them that I want to leave, but I don't.
All right.
Oh, there it is. Them in the skin. I get what happened to my companions. Had to suffer. Everybody ready. There's like a lot of conversations. Morta tells that he knew all this all along.
I feel stronger.
Portal detected.
Let's just go through it.
I'm going.
Tayanara is probably here. What's my alignment? Neutral, good. Didn't change much. Tayanara.
Updated my journal.
Found your legacy. That's pretty cool. Although I don't think she disappeared like that. Last time. Don't remember. Gate opens. That's the Dignus.
Arise, Ignis. I have need of you.
Oh, he survives.
There are creatures that must die.
That's interesting. So no matter what, he's like ready to kill me. I see.
I'm gone.
Examine the panel.
Updated my journal.
Pull the lever. Then
Shadows.
unskippable cutscenes.
Ah, the Githzerai. I remember him well. Submit.
I may be bested in battle, but I shall never be defeated.
You cannot hope to defeat me.
I have been here before. This time I shall never leave.
So be it.
So be it. And I heal up so quickly, it doesn't even matter now.
So cold here.
Ah, the fiendling girl.
He matters more to me than my life.
Then die.
Is he gonna kill her for all her hit points? It's gonna take a long time if that's the case. Oh no, she has less.
Updated my journal. This is it. Updated my journal.
difficult to separate shadow from the darkness here. This is not a place meant for the living.
Ah, the Tanari.
It would have been so cool if Ignis didn't show up. But for some reason, it doesn't matter. But you do it like that. Don't understand.
You have done enough harm. Prepare yourself.
You are... I can forge planes with my power. I can unmake you.
Now I have to go, I think, to the east of here. Oh my god, I got stuck. Let's try limit strike or something.
Spell got disrupted. Weapon's not doing a damn thing.
Oh no. I'm in trouble.
Spell got disrupted.
Let me look up, because I haven't saved in a while. Let me look up the cheat to kill him. I don't want to see all this stuff again, especially since I have completed the game once already. What was it? Don't remember. Control Y. That's the code. They have 1,000 health, it seems.
I'm gone.
Have to use this thing, I think.
Updated my journal.
Oh, Nordom has a cinematic. I did not see that before.
Processing. Plane. Negative material. Location. Fortress of Regrets.
Ah, the rogue construct.
Sense of closure imminent.
You have overstepped yourself. Submit.
You wish harm upon one who has aided Nordum at cost to his selves. Nordum will attempt to stop you. Prospect of success, slight.
The body is a shell. Intense pressure may fracture it. Shall I continue?
You intend to harm him. Nordum will stop you. Nordum damaged.
What's he doing? Wait, did he just leave him? He just left him, it seems. Or maybe he was supposed to crack, but Since he has so many hit points, he survived? Or something like that.
I'm gone.
To be able to just cast one spell and destroy him. Did not work, surprisingly enough. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage. He heals the the fires, regenerates through them. Sounding stone. This dark stone is covered in dust as if has been sitting there for years. It looks like a piece of one of the statues that has chipped away. A tracery of strange runes and markings cover the stone surface. It feels strangely familiar somehow. Might be useful. Touch the crystal, fall into darkness. So what I'm interested here is how the bronze sphere influences the conversations, because they speak about it. And I didn't have it at the time.
Updated my journal.
Of questions. You're the one who saved Dakon at Shaktor, and the one who's led Diana to head off, yeah. You gave Dakon the Unbroken Circle from Zetrimon, why? The Unbroken Circle, that collection of lies, yet it was a weak work to forge such a thing. It was necessary to make it so that he would cease doubting himself. It's a forgery. You made it, but you told them perhaps they carry some truth. I know not. I know that they were tedious writings, but the words were enough to give them faith. Why? Your ignorance astounds me. The man looks incredulous. It can be that you do not know what he carries in his hand. The blade he carries is shaped by his thoughts. Such a tool, when used properly, could slay the multiverse itself. The man looks lost in thought. Then he faced sneers and disgust. Although obviously the gift became separated when we arrived in the fortress, and I was unable to make use of this blade. Man frowns. Unfortunate. There's something else. You saved Darkon at the Shark Lore because of his blade. Why? Yeah, probably won't be able to tell me. That instead of actually helping him out, it made him doubt the Zetrimon. Why did Dayanara have to die? The girl has little sense, yeah. Didn't have to kill her. That wasn't necessary, it was convenient. Okay, I won't discuss it any longer. Beetle of Pinion Sigil. Okay. You are the ones who pride more to fade ignorance? Or the others? Yep. How do you escape? Let me find my bearings first. Second incarnation. Who are you? How is it possible? I have had countless lives, but they're only 3 incarnations. Do you know why I wanted to become immortal? No, I do not. I think it was done out of fear. Perhaps one of the others knows it, but not I. What makes you think it was done out of fear? The man slares slightly, but there is no humor in it. If anything, it was a sad smile. What man wishes to die? He shakes his head slowly, but only the first of us will only truly know the reason that brought us to the state. Yeah, but he knows. What was your life like? It was quiet and long, and was filled with much of the pain and joys that one would expect in life. I served as a cartographer for a time, and I walked the plains for several years. How did you die? In the end, I traveled upon the fields of Bytopia. Terrible shadows took on life. As I lay sleeping, I died as I felt a claws upon me. They are the shades of all those that died in our place. The man looks pained. Yes, I know. I know that now. One cannot be in this place of regrets and not feel agony. I came to this fortress with allies, but they have been separated from me. Then I fear your friends are already dead. The man looks pained. This place bears a hatred for the living. How do I leave this place? I do not know. I have never been here before. One of the others may possess the knowledge of how to leave, but I do not. I don't know. Perhaps the 3 pieces that were Hamko still present in your mind. Still present how? Not for sure. He is the real one. Basically. Wait. So it wasn't the first of us, real one of us before the incarnate might still be buried somewhere in my mind. You are the first one, yeah. And he became well-intentioned, reveled it. What do you wish to know? Seems so short, little aspected and enjoyed. Farewell. Who are you? Speak in the language with you, correct. I want to... You intend to fight for the devil it looks here. What are you talking about? You came here previously and were defeated. We could still fail. Have questions. Need to ask him about ferret somehow. Why did... No, that's not it. Maybe it was already mentioned. I just didn't see it. Oh, there it is probably. You were responsible for those. Kind of vague though. Why him? What for? A sphere made of bronze, ugly, feels like a neck to the touch, smells of rotten custard, right? Yes. But it wouldn't save him, I just wanted him to find. He ended up tricking me into finding it for him. Do you have it with you? Yes, I brought it with me. You have it? The incarnation's eyes flare. The new life had some use after all. You watch his eyes flicker, the thinking, calculating. When we merge, I will see about finding means to unlock it. Perhaps all is not lost. What is the sphere? Why is it important? It is a dead sensory stone. Do you not know what it contains? He smiles eagerly. It holds the last experience of the first of us, when we were one man. And it's not a string of incarnations, his voice drops. If there is some way of unlocking it, I will be able to see inside his mind. Doesn't seem like I can use it. I was hoping maybe you would get the memory or something. Let's bluff. Force him to merge.
I feel stronger. I feel stronger. I'm gone.
Dainara. I wish to rejoin my companions. There are things I need from them. Wish to speak to you for a moment. Tell you how you died. I'm sorry, Dainara. Can you help me escape? To rejoin my friends. Don't think I had that option. What about the companions? I think it all teleports me to one place.
Forgive what you have done. I shall wait for you in death's halls, my love.
Yeah, it's all the same place, it seems.
Done. So you have come. You are unwelcome here, broken one. Are they dead? Yes. Unlike you, they have but one life. And they wasted it for your sake.
Why did you do it? Tried to harm me, so you killed them. Now that you're my mortality. Never meant to be separated. Many questions I have, and my questions are these. My friends, I want their lives returned to them, and I want them to have free passage from this place. You can't resurrect them, can you? So I can resurrect them as well. If we can, you have the power, they must have the power too, if I'm not there at the moment of death. Resurrect one of them. But I think if I resurrect them, then the battle starts. Maybe mortal ritual was flawed. We are linked and you must suffer as well. If I die, you die. I think I know exactly what you're saying. If I were to destroy, be destroyed. Perhaps not. If you're linked as you say, I would know my name. You don't know the name was. Why was that even important? This is strange. Strange. Said you share a link. There was three that know where you could be found and how to reach you. One was Trias, one was you, and the other was me. If you kill Trias and I, there'll be no one who knows who you how to find you. You led me to him at last, like you, the prayer was difficult to find, he'll die when the final death. So you used me to find him. You wanted me to kill him, didn't you? You see, time's blade has not bled your mind of all reason. My purpose was always such to make you forget, but why? Because never again I wish to suffer your presence. Broken one, you are in irritation. Remember what life once was. And I detest such reminders. I wish to be left in peace for my fortress. As you have forgotten me, I wish to forget you forever. Then that is acceptable to me, but know that I will suffer your attacks no longer. You will keep your shadows here and allow me to live my life. And I will allow you to live yours. Always doesn't mean what it once did. I have died time and time again, and my memories have returned to me. Deceptions will not shield you here, Broken One. It is the truth. Killing me won't stop me, because killing me doesn't make me forget anymore. I'll know you always. I'll remember everything you've done, how to reach you, and eventually how to destroy you. Then I shall imprison you, Nameless One. If you will not forget, then I shall not allow you to be free. But I already escaped from the crystal prison that drew me path. You can't kill me, you can't hold me, and you can't make me forget myself any longer. Then I will free you to the shades, feed you to the shades. I will defeat you here, then cast you into the shadow galleries, where they'll feed on you. They will kill you across the span of several eternities. You shall never walk the plains again. This is strange. I thought that the bronze sphere could be used somehow. Can you ask all this?
No, that is no longer possible.
Oh, damn it.
You led me to all that have guided you to this place. I will end their lives. You have allowed me to hide my presence forever. There is no one left in all of existence who can tell you how to reach me. This shall be the last time you trespass in these halls. The halls of this fortress shall be silent again. You will trouble me no more. I will shatter.
Didn't want to fight them. Not just yet, at least. Do I really have the Bronze Sphere? Yeah, I do have it, but I don't have...
You shall be my... So you are unwelcome here, broken one.
Maybe I have to resurrect them.
Are they dead? Yes. Unlike you, they have
Or
but
at least
one
try to.
life. And they wasted it for your sake.
My fortress, my home, it's what the home is to immortals from the regrets. With nothing but the shades of those who murdered. Filling halls, abandoned relics of the past, languishing beneath dust and the life-draining energies and the negative material plane to feast the eyes on. There's words for in a place like that, they're called prisons. Every word betrays your ignorance, broken one. The fortress is silent, all that comes here dies before the intruding into my presence, and the shadows are quiet creatures. I think you have to remain here along with the shadows and the ghost because that's what you've become. I don't think you sustain this place at all. I think it sustains you. I remain here by choice. Really? So when you said you can't journey beyond the fortress for long, you were lying. And how is it possible that a fortress built from my regrets need you to sustain? I will see you die 1,000 deaths for your insolence. You shall see. I might be immortal, but it was flawed. Not sure how to get there to the ending with the bronze sphere. Maybe because I spawned the item, it doesn't register that I have it or something like that. But there was a dialogue in the previous room. We can change that nonetheless. I will hear your answer. Nothing can change the nature of man. Many things may change the nature of man, whether regret or love or revenge or fear, whatever you believe can change the nature of mankind. Then you learned a false lesson, Broken. Have I? I've seen belief move cities, make stave of death and turn an evil hag's heart to half circle. This entire fortress has been constructed from belief. Belief damned the woman, those heart clung to the hope of another love her what he did not. Once it made a man seek immortality and achieve it. and has met posturing spirit think it's something more than a part of me. I think belief could even unmake me if I believed it enough. You do not possess the force of will to see such a thing. We shall see, perhaps I should try. Do not try my patience, broken one. Focus your inwards, keep focusing. You're but a fool to think you can achieve such a thing. You can barely keep your own tethered mind intact. There is nothing left for you to fall, broken one. Stop, you know not what you do. I know what I do. You have tormented me enough, and now it ends. If you don't do this thing, we shall be undone. There is no one fate here who destroys both. As I see it, I have two choices. Either I kill you us both, or I let you kill me again and again. Within what few pieces of my mind I have left, I think I'd prefer we both die, unless you have a third solution. There's no other decision to this matter. I think there is. You can become one again, as we were meant. You know not what you do. If you are reunited, then it shall be an ending. There shall be no future for us. We shall go on to further torments. It is better that happened and the multiverse continue to suffer because of us. If we become one, we shall suffer. There is too much of the nature of the first one in us for us to be saved. We shall be damned. You know not what you do. Prepare yourself. This is the only answer. Know that I have always hated you, broken one. When we are one, I will continue to hate you. When your shell dies at last, know that I shall take the pleasure in your death. I can live with that, and so can the planes. Know that my hatred for you will unmake the planes. Prepare yourself, we shall be one again, until I ask moments of life. Before we do, what of my friends? Is it possible to save them? I am mortality itself, the nature of life and death is something I know well. When we are one, my knowing shall be yours, will or well? As I reach out with your power, Morta suddenly floats into the air. Hey, hold up, Chief, you don't need to resurrect me. I was kind of lying there, you know, listening to you too. You're feigning death. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm already dead, and, Chief, what happened to your voice? I'm something else now. Time runs short, and soon time and fate will catch up with me. I will return to you to Sigil, Morty, if you wish it. Return me? What about you? Come on, Chief, I may be a coward, but there's no way I'm leaving you in this place. Many are the crimes that were committed when my mortality and I were split. These crimes carry a price. You may not go where I will soon be. Well, I could go with you anyway, Chief, if you wanted me to. I mean, we have been through worse. Not this time. Perhaps one day you and I will meet again on another plane, but not now.
It's been a pleasure, Chief.
Not to get all misjudged, but it's been a pleasure. Farewell, Morty. You reach out with your power, there is a rush of air, another stirs. He raises her head slowly, then shakes it confused. Anna, you're right. Anna's eyes widen as she hears a voice. What happened? A voice, it's like echoes of this. I have changed, I'm something else now. And I cannot remain here much longer. I will return you to Sigil if you wish it. What? Where are you going? Many are the crimes that were committed when my mortality and I were split. Carry a price? There is a place reserved for the ones such as I. On the lower planes it is a punishment of a sort. But I don't want you to go. I will not forget how much you were willing to sacrifice for me, Anna. Anna nods. She looks like she's about to say something else, but then falls silent. But the unspoken thought remains in her mind lingering. I do not need your words to know your heart, Anna. Very well. Waken, Dark Honor Shellac last wielder of the Karak blade. As he hears the words, Darkon slowly nods. Your voice. Have you at last come to know yourself? Yes, it was a difficult thing, and it cost many lifetimes. Many suffered so that I might know myself again. The knowing of oneself is a difficult path. In knowing it, I know where I shall soon be bound. Time and fate come here even as we speak, and I will not be here much longer. I will return you to Sigil, Darkon, if you wish. Darkon falls silent for a moment, then he speaks again. His voice is sharp, as if severing a link. Know that once I owed you a debt. Now. Know that you saved my life, and know that I followed you to settle that debt.
I have paid for your life with mine. The debt is settled.
Okay, very well, Darkon. Your two deaths were as one. You will leave this place with your freedom. Fall from grace. Your voice. So you have found yourself at last. Yes, the price was high. The cost many lifetimes, mine and others. The price of such a thing is seldom measured in copper. Fall from grace says your future. I am still the one you know, but my perspective has changed. I have not forgotten you, if that's your fear. Fall from grace smiles again. The same sad smile as before, no, that was not my fear. I cannot remain here for much longer. My punishment calls, and fate and time shall soon be here. I will return to you, to Sigil, if you wish. That is not my wish. Fall from grace reaches forward, and her hand lightly touches your arm. There is a slight tingling sensation, barely felt, then she takes it away. I will find you again, no matter where in the lower planes you will be, just as you shall be able to find me. It may be a long time where I am bound. Time is not measured in years. Where I am bound, time is not measured in years, and the crimes I have committed are stronger than my cage. The cage shall separate us, and no plane shall divide us. No cage shall separate us, and no plane shall divide us. Fall from grace. Grace becomes like stone. Keep thinking of me, and we will shut me again. Oh, that's interesting. She shakes her head. Just do not forget me. Time lays waste to all things, but I shall fight as long as I can.
Time is not your enemy. Forever is.
Time was not for what? Perhaps so. Nordam. Reach out with your power, shaping the soul of Nordam's shape slowly until you feel it slipping back into the Nordam's body. There is a shudder from Nordam's frame, and he springs to his feet. Nordam. Nordam blinks, the shutters of his eyes clicking rapidly. Then the shutters dilate the points as if he is squinting at you. Your voice exceeds standard recognition parameters. I have become whole again. I have changed, but I shall not be here much longer. I will turn you to Sigil, Nordam, if you wish. Where is your next destination? Nordam will follow and protect you. I have committed many crimes across many lifetimes. I go now to a place of punishment. You cannot come with me. Branching query. Do you not require, or do you not want the presence of Nordam? You cannot follow Nordam. It is not my choice. There are other powers that rule my actions. They always did. But now they know me for what I am, and they come even as we speak. Nordam works for a moment, then his crossbow begins clicking and twanging in his hands. Nordam surrenders gratitude. You helped Nordam find his identity, as you helped me find mine. I give you your freedom, Nordam. Explore, learn, grow. We may meet again on another plane in a time far from now. Response heard and acknowledged. Nordam now awaiting said day. Hold on to your logic, Nordam. You will find it as greater shield than most of the passions that rule the
The
planes.
issue no longer equals total logic.
Farewell, Nordam. Oh, is that the journal? Maybe that's the diary. I have no idea. What is that book at the ending? Well, surprisingly, for some reason, I usually don't like kind of these bittersweet endings. But in this case, I feel kind of that it's fitting. How would I say it? It's probably how I would like it to end. That's the thing. And I think it's pretty great, even though it's not a happy ending. And the way they made the ending, it seems like they kind of wanted to make a sequel, because like at least there's a possibility for a sequel. Probably won't be but it's nice to think that maybe the gang would come together and rescue him from the Blood War or something like that. But anyways, it's been lots of fun playing this. Probably the last stream. Yeah, I think it's last stream. I don't think I want anything else with the game. Not sure what I'm going to stream tomorrow, but if you're watching the VOD or watching live, thanks for your viewership. Guess I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.